Greetings, YouTube. First things, I'd like to make a mention that one of my new subscribers, one Blaziken Master, does movie reviews. They are very enthusiastic, so if you'd like to take a look at them, check in my subscriber list for the link to his page. Today I'm going to review the new movie Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. My wife and I saw it last Friday, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it. If you'll pardon the pun in reference to a Sherlock Holmes movie, this is a thinking man's buddy movie. Because that's what this is. It's very much a buddy's movie. It is a bromance. There are other things going on, but the relationship between Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. is really what's going on in this film. And it borders more than just a little bit on the implied homoerotic. I found that very humorous. Their relationship, their dynamic, was very much as an old couple that was slowly over time separating and trying to find a new foundation, a new place for their relationship. How things change when other people's lives alter and how they affect yours. Other than that, it was a lot of fun in and of itself. It was an action film, but it wasn't quite a big, huge action film. It wasn't. There were explosions and there were fight scenes and such, but it didn't have quite the Michael Bay level of absolute insanity. There were chase scenes and there were foot races and there were daring do, and all of it was quite enjoyable. And one of the things I liked about this is I really felt that the city of London itself was a character in this movie. The setting, the costuming, the lighting, not to mention, of course, the acting and the writing, and the soundtrack, the score of this film, really immersed me in London in the late 19th century, or not so late, because I don't know exactly what year it took place in, but they mentioned the Civil War, and it's referred to as having just passed. So we're talking like the late 1860s. I think. I'm not positive. I honestly can't tell you what the exact dates for Sherlock Holmes stories are. I've never been a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. I like the idea of the character. I particularly enjoy the idea that he is the seed that eventually became the great character of Batman, the detective. And Downey Jr. plays this character wonderfully. And for most of the film, we get to see things from very much an external point of view. You're watching him do things, and he's doing them with flair, he's doing them with a style, and you're seeing his cleverness, his ability to think on his feet. But there are a couple of brief scenes in the movie where you actually get inside of his head, where he dissects the moment, where everything kind of just slows down. And for that brief moment, you're seeing the world the way Holmes sees it. His calculations, his predictions, his planning. This is what I'm going to do. And then he does it in full speed. And it was quite interesting to see it happen. As it really shows that idea of planning, that idea of having a cognitive focus that great can really be quite deadly. Because it's not just throwing wild haymakers. It isn't just riffing on the moment. It's taking what's available to you for data, analyzing it, weighing it, and then making a decision that is the optimum for that moment in time. And that is scary and deadly. And it's the kind of thing that Holmes was known for, and in the future, of course, it's the kind of thing that Batman was known for. And both are great characters. I've loved Batman for years. I think he's a wonderful character because even though very, very unrealistic, he's human. And Holmes is much more realistic and human. Holmes's foibles, his humanity, comes through in this film in a way that I'm not sure it was ever portrayed in previous editions of these films. Because he's very much seen as a wounded, as a hurt person, as an incredibly complex individual who must be kept busy. You don't want Holmes to be left alone, because Holmes alone begins to go down some very dark paths to alleviate that boredom. And I think it explains why, in the stories, of course, he becomes an addict, because he just needs something to alleviate that oppressiveness around him when he's not engaged. When he's doing something, he's the happiest man in the world. But when he's not doing something, that's when things start to go very bad for him. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect actor in the world to play this character. He plays Tony Stark extremely well. He plays Holmes really well because they're flawed people. And I love him for it. I'm looking forward to the new Iron Man coming out, and I really hope that they make a sequel to this, because they hint at Moriarty. They discuss him briefly in the film, and they allude to just how clever he is. And he's a match for Holmes, and Holmes desperately needs that. They also do make a bit of a reference to some technology that did not exist in the time frame that this film was set. It could have existed. There's no reason it couldn't have existed. But to the best of my knowledge, it did not exist. So that pushed the bounds of credibility a little bit for me. But other than that, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.